Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and today's video is going to be a fun one. In today's video, we are going Jellicent hunting in the Fossil Cup with CRAWDAUNT. CRAWDAUNT is a dark and water type Pokemon, meaning that it resists all of Jellicent's possible charge moves. CRAWDAUNT typically runs the moveset of Snarl, Night Slash, and Crabhammer. I tried it out for a few sets and honestly had some decent success with it. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches, and let's go Jellicent hunting with CRAWDAUNT in the Fossil Cup. Hopping into the first match, leading a Scavalier into Registeel, a very nice lead. Opponent is going to immediately save switch into a Jellicent, and our target has been acquired. In comes CRAWDAUNT. CRAWDAUNT is going to be resisting everything Jellicent throws. They go for the Shadow Ball, and we are already at back-to-back Night Slashes. Night Slash number 1, big damage onto the Jellicent, and I think I may be able to farm down here. This should only be a Bubble Beam, so I'm gonna no shield and try and go for the farm down. CRAWDAUNT farming, I get worried and I fire off a last second Night Slash. Night Slash gets the shield and it KOs because even a shielded charge move still does 1 HP of damage. Back in comes the Registeel. I fire off a last second Crabhammer as they farm down. In the back, they have Pelipper. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. Hopping into the next match, leading a Scavalier into Jellicent. Pretty bad lead, so I'm going to need to immediately save switch into my soft counter, which is Lantern. Opponent farms up and then brings in Lucario. And this is a pretty nice matchup for Lantern. At the very least, I should be able to get a lot of shields here. Lucario goes for the power-up punch, and I'm going to fire back with the Thunderbolt. This would do massive damage. Lucario is pretty glassy, so they're forced to commit the shield. Lantern farming up. This should just be another power-up punch, meaning I can reach a second Thunderbolt. And that means I'm going to be able to get either both shields or switch advantage. Lantern firing off the Thunderbolt, and we do get the second shield. That is fantastic. In comes a Scavalier. This power-up punch is double boosted, so it's going to hurt quite a bit, but I should be able to tank it. Escav able to tank, going for the farm down, and we're able to get there. We now have a 2-shield CRAWDAUNT versus the world, and in the back, they have Fire Fang Mawile, and this game is over. CRAWDAUNT going straight for the Crabhammer. Big damage onto the Mawile. I'm going to shield once and then commit to the resistant Snarl farm down. They go for the power-up punch. That is totally fine. CRAWDAUNT loading up on energy. Back in comes the Jellicent, and I'm going straight for the Night Slash. Night Slash is going to be doing big damage onto the Jellicent as they fire off a move. All I have to do is shield here, very safely reach a second Night Slash, and this game is going to be over. CRAWDAUNT able to take down the Jellicent, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading a Scavalier into Lucario. This is a pretty decent lead for Escav. And even better, the Lucario is staying in, which is definitely where I want to see it on this team. I do outpace. I'm going to be able to reach a move before they reach their Shadow Ball. I go for the Acid Spray. They no shield, but I counter down before they're able to reach a Shadow Ball. In comes Swampert, and this is trouble because I don't have a great response to Swampert. So I'm going to go straight for the Acid Spray, hoping to try and grab his shield, but my opponent is reading me like a book, and unfortunately they call the Acid Spray bait. Down goes Escav, and I'm going to bring in Lantern expecting them to switch out, which they do, and in the back is Registeel. This is a bit tough now that my Escav is dead, but I'm hopefully going to be able to get some nice chip damage here with Lantern. Lantern able to land the Thunderbolt, and Reggie is probably going to be firing off a Zap Cannon. It takes 2 moves to KO anyway, and the Zap Cannon is going to be able to lower my attack, so that way I'm not able to do quite enough damage. Thunderbolt would not be lethal from this range, so I'm going to try and farm up and threaten a potential Hydro Pump. I will shield up the Focus Blast, overfarm quite a bit, and I'm going for the Thunderbolt bait, hoping to try and grab a shield from the Registeel. We do not, but we're able to reach another Thunderbolt, and this will be taking out the Registeel if they decide not to shield. And we're able to grab a shield from the Registeel. That is massive. We farm up, in comes Swampert, and I respond with CRAWDAUNT. Swampert is going to fire off a Hydro Cannon. I do live this, but it is going to do a massive amount of damage. I'm going to farm up and then go for the Night Slash. Night Slash is going to do some big damage here if it connects, and Swampert is going to respect it with a shield. Swampert firing off another Hydro. I'm going to shield this. I should be able to slightly overfarm again and then go for the Night Slash. This way I have residual energy. Reggie does have a move. They're going to have to throw it to take me out here. We get the boost. Reggie tries for the farm down, and they do not get there. CRAWDAUNT taking down the Registeel, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, setting a Scavalier into the mirror. I'm going to be staying in this matchup because I do want to keep this away from CRAWDAUNT if at all possible. So I'm going to stay in and just go straight for the Acid Spray, hoping that my opponent decides to commit the shield. Getting a shield on an Acid Spray would be massive. I go for the Acid Spray, but my opponent calls it, and it's a CMP tie. I will respect it. I get Acid Sprayed back, and things are not looking good here. I am farming up, trying to go for the counter down, but I don't get it, making mistakes left and right in this match, and now I've lost switch advantage and shield advantage. My opponent has Lantern in the back, and I'm forced to stay in here because my CRAWDAUNT does not want to see this Lantern either. I'm going to be able to land the Thunderbolt and just keep farming up. They're going to be throwing the Thunderbolt right as they reach 100 energy there, and I'm going to tank this because I don't have to shield in this situation. That's totally fine. Going for the Thunderbolt, but I lose CMP, and I have a tough call to make here. I'm going to let this go. I'm going to trust in CRAWDAUNT. CRAWDAUNT, down a shield, going to try and take on the world. Firing off the Night Slash, and they commit the shield. I'm hoping this means that they're weak in the back. I keep farming up. I go for the Night Slash, but they catch onto a Scavalier, and now I'm in a ton of danger. This is not good whatsoever. We'll have to see what they do have in the back. We know they still have the Lantern, and it's Jellicent, so maybe there is a chance. I'm going to be firing off the Night Slash. This does not one-shot, but it's going to do quite a lot of damage, and we get the boost. That is huge. I'm going to be firing off a second Night Slash. This will KO. They decide to commit the shield. Now the question is, can I snarl down? If I can snarl down and leave with a move, I will win CMP over the Lantern. CRAWDAUNT going for the snarl down. They bring in Lantern, and they have the move loaded. Opponent took advantage of the switch timer, and we lose a heartbreakingly close game. Hopping into the next match, hitting Scavalier into Melmetal, a very nice lead. Opponent is going to immediately save switch into a Jellicent, and it is once again CRAWDAUNT time. CRAWDAUNT going to be spamming out these Night Slashes. This is going to be doing massive damage onto the Jellicent. Jellicent is going to fire back. As we've seen, Shadow Ball does do a ton of resisted damage here, but CRAWDAUNT is able to hang on, overfarm quite a bit, and then fire off the Night Slash. Night Slash is going to be easily taking out the Jellicent here, and they're going to look to get some farm on Melmetal. Back in comes Melmetal, but I'm able to reach the Crab Hammer. Crab Hammer is going to be doing massive damage if it lands, which it does. They're able to farm down. Back in comes Escav. They do have a move. Superpower or Rock Slide is going to be doing quite a bit of damage here. They go for the Superpower, and in the back they have Quagsire. This is bad news for my Lantern, but I still have a 2-shielded Escavalier. I'm going to go straight for the Acid Spray and do what Escav does best. Escav is incredibly deadly in the 2-shield thanks to Acid Spray, because as you're going to see, they're going to have a tough time mud-shotting down, whereas I can keep increasing the amount of counter damage I'm doing by spamming out these Acid Sprays. Quagsire, recognizing it's in trouble, they are going to be firing off another move, but they're just not going to be able to do enough damage here. Escav able to take them out. Back in comes Melmetal, and we can very safely spark down with the Lantern, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, setting Scavalier into Berserker, a great lead. Opponent is going to save switch into a Swampert, and this is not what I was hoping to see. This entire team is very weak to Swampert, so I'm definitely in a bit of trouble here. I'm going to tank the Hydro Cannon and fire off the Acid Spray. I am needing my opponent to shield this, and they do. That's massive. In comes CRAWDAUNT. CRAWDAUNT reaches the Night Slash, and this will easily KO if they decide not to commit the shield. Opponent is going to double shield the Swampert and fire back with a move. I do survive a Hydro Cannon here, but it is going to do a ton of resisted damage because, again, CRAWDAUNT is very, very glassy. I'm going to shield up. I should be able to overfarm and then reach a move to take out the Swampert. So I'm going to overfarm. They actually save the Swampert for later and bring back in Berserker. I'm going to be going straight for the Crab Hammer. Crab Hammer, massive damage on a Berserker, and I'm able to reach a last-second Night Slash. This is going to be taking out Berserker. We'll have to see what they have in the back here. They bring back in the Swampert. I'm going to bring in the Escab to hopefully force them to throw. They are forced to throw, and then I'm hoping that Lantern up a shield is going to be able to clutch versus whatever they have in back. Back in comes the Lantern. This cannot be an Earthquake, so I'm going to let this through. That is just the Hydro Cannon. We spark down. What do they have in back? It's Jellicent, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, hitting a Scavalier into Shadow Swampert. As I mentioned, Swampert is definitely not a Pokemon I enjoy seeing because it has a ton of play against the entire team. I am able to get through an extra counter, which is great, and then I'm going to try and go for the Acid Spray. I go for the Acid Spray, but they catch onto Skarmory. That is not great because I'm going to need energy to be able to take on the Swampert. So I'm going to stay in here, farm up a bunch of energy, and then bring in Lantern. Lantern is set up for a very nice Spark Down, so I should be able to leave with a massive amount of energy to threaten that Shadow Swampert. Skarmory goes for the Brave Bird, trying to limit my farm, but I'm still able to leave with a ton of energy. And if they bring back in the Swampert, I'm going to be going for a Thunderbolt bait here. The Swampert is low enough that a Thunderbolt would be doing some solid damage. Thunderbolt does get the shield. That's great. They're going to fire off a move. This can only be a Hydro Cannon, which is not going to be enough to KO. I'm going to fire off another Thunderbolt. This probably won't be enough to KO, but it will do a solid chunk of damage. We get the shield and get the snipe back into the Escavalier. Drill Run is going to be taking care of the Shadow Swampert. In the back, they have their own Escavalier, and I'm going to be able to go for the Drill Run. Drill Run should just about finish up this match. That is going to be getting them quite low, but I haven't gotten a chance to show them my CRAWDAUNT yet. So I actually stop attacking just so I can show the CRAWDAUNT, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Escavalier into Whiscash. Again, not a great lead. This team really doesn't like to see Mud Boys, but I'm going to stay in and try and play it out. I'm going to be going for the Drill Run, hoping that they decide to call an Acid Spray. Drill Run is able to connect. That's huge. Escav can survive one Mud Bomb, but a second one will basically be taking us out. So I'm going to throw one more switch and catch onto the CRAWDAUNT. CRAWDAUNT is going to be able to absorb this damage, and we'll have to see what they have in back. And they have Ferrothorn. This is a terrible matchup for the CRAWDAUNT, but baiting this out should hopefully free up Lantern to close in the end game. Night Slash is going to land. I'm hoping to be able to get to a third, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get there, as they are getting Bullet Seeds through here, and they're going to be able to farm me down just before I'm able to reach the move. Unfortunately, this Ferrothorn is absolutely loaded on energy. I'm going to shield up, they go for the Power Whip bait, and I'm able to counter down. That's big. In the back, they have Cradilly. I am going to be going for the Acid Spray here because I am fully expecting them to shield in this situation. They do commit the shield. In comes the Whiscash. I'm going to farm up, bring in the Lantern, and catch the Mud Bomb. Lantern is going to have to absorb the damage here because unfortunately it's not particularly useful with the Cradilly in play. They are going to be able to hit me with a second Mud Bomb, which isn't ideal and does put me into farm down range, unfortunately. Back in comes Cradilly. I'm trying to reach the Hydro Pump, and I get there. I'm really needing them to no-shield this. Hydro Pump does get shielded. Cradilly able to farm down. I do have a Drill Run loaded, but this is only neutral damage onto Cradilly. Drill Run, not enough to KO, and that's going to be game over. They're going to be able to reach the back-to-back moves here. Grass Knot gets the shield, and a second Grass Knot is going to take me out. So unfortunately, the double Grass Line, a bit too much to overcome, and that is a good game. Hopping to the final match, leading Escavalier into Berserker, a great lead. Opponent is going to save switch into a Pelipper, which is not looking like such a safe switch after being met with Lantern. Lantern just absolutely destroys in this matchup. Whether they throw a Hurricane or a Weather Ball, Lantern just shrugs off the damage and keeps farming down. They're going to be able to reach one final move here, a Weather Ball. Lantern does not care, sparks all the way down and leaves with 100 energy. Back in comes Berserker, and now is Lantern's time to shine. Thunderbolt, big damage on a Berserker. Going to overfarm and go for Thunderbolt number 2. This is going to be taking care of the Berserker unless they shield. Berserker does commit the shield. Lantern should be able to reach a third here. A little bit of lag, and Berserker throws, not wanting to get hit with the third move. Foul Play is going to KO. In comes Escav. In the back, they have Shadow Swampert. And now it is CRAWDAUNT's time to shine. CRAWDAUNT going straight for the Night Slash. Night Slash connects and does massive damage onto that Shadow Swampert. Hydro Cannons from a Shadow Swampert are going to do massive damage here. So honestly, I don't even want to take one here. I'm able to get the Snarl through. I'm actually going to shield here, because I want to try and finish out the game with CRAWDAUNT, but the Snarl doesn't KO, and they're able to reach a last-second move. I should still be okay here. Escav should be able to farm down. I got very greedy. I wanted CRAWDAUNT to close out the match, but either way, we get the win. All in all, I had a ton of fun going Jellicent hunting in the Fossil Cup with CRAWDAUNT. To be honest, Fossil Cup isn't one of my most favorite metas ever, but being able to absolutely hard counter Jellicents with CRAWDAUNT did definitely make doing my sets a bit more enjoyable. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.